Innovative.
So
Bandana.
I'm cool as Cam, the coolest motherfucker on the planet, and today I'm here with the homies, and we want to talk some shit and laugh.
Hey.
Hello.
we had to. Hey, that's the honorary instead of the A.
It's a dipset?
Yeah, we had to, hey.
All right, with that being said, make sure you tap in with our website, www.theinnovativeculture.com. Follow us on Instagram at innovative.culture and subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/innovativeculture.
Yeah.
Who I got in the building with me today.
What's good? It's Tony Grams. Follow me on IG at Tony Grams, TONY_GRAMS. And we in here with the homies. What's good?
Mark, not on social media currently, but, came to talk some shit.
That's right.
He came to talk some shit, so let's talk.
I did.
What's up, y'all? What's going on? And well, has anybody had anything funny happen recently?
Man, I mean, I've had I've had like a lot of funny shit been going on the last like few weeks of just people around me. It's not really happening to me.
Right.
It's just when you just notice shit and you don't involve yourself in certain type of shit.
That's the funniest ones, though.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and you just watch it unfold, and then you watch people lie to other people to try to like, oh, I don't, and this happened, and I'm like, bro, I saw the whole thing, and then they've been doing that. So at my job, there's there's a lot of women, older women, younger women, like 21 and up, of course, and so there's this chick, and I remember I met her maybe last year on her birthday. She was in there just drinking, sat next to her, had a few drinks. Well, we were all in there. It wasn't just me and her. It was a lot of people. So every time she comes, she kind of hugs on me, starts twerking on me, like grinding on me, all this shit. And so she showed up a few weeks ago, and there's another regular that comes to the bar. And they were chilling, and she's like trying to rub on me, but then he's sitting on the other bar, so and she's like with her hand like under his shirt, like rubbing. So I'm like, it's like, you ain't gonna be rubbing on me. Like, you doing this while I'm standing up watching the fight, and then this nigga sitting next to you, and you got your whole hand under his shirt.
It's a cold
so
world, bro.
They disappear out the bar. She leaves her purse. I go out to look, and I see his car is still sitting there, and then I look and see her car parked on the corner kind of rocking. I was like, I was like, okay, they smashed it. But I tripped because she's like an older chick. She ain't no spring chicken.
And she made sure she had a backup.
Yeah, hey, bro. I swear, she's a grandma. She's definitely, so I'm like, nigga, imagine your grandma getting smashed in a parked car.
We are not going to hate on grandma right now, all right?
Grandma,
we ain't going to leave grandma alone.
Grandma getting dick down around the corner in a parked car. So
Tony said I walked out and that shit was rocking.
Because I wasn't on it like you. Oh, I was talking. I was just like, you an older chick that come here. I'm not like, it's not no like major interest or nothing, but it just, that shit tripped me out. And then so she came back in. I see her get out the car. She's like in her sports bra. She's like putting her like hoodie on and shit. And then she's like trying to, she's trying to, like, I can see her trying to get herself together and all that shit. And then comes back in. Did I leave my purse? I'm like, yeah, I got you right here. And then she pops, but the cold part, so she comes back again last Friday, and does the exact same thing. Literally leaves.
Car rocking again.
Yeah,
somebody
exactly.
else or what?
With another dude.
Oh wow!
She's done it three. She's done it 3 times, but at least 2 of them were with the same dude.
Grandma's out here.
Yeah, grandma out here living her best life.
Yeah, she's
grandma got to eat too.
Yeah, I was dropping off some food, bro, and I couldn't get into this gate, right? Mm-hmm. And so I called the lady to come out, and as I'm waiting there, bro pulled up. Like, some guy pulled up that lives there, but went in his gate, whatever, went all the way down, bro, circled back around, came back out, and like flashed his light at me. I was like, do you have any business here? And I was thinking, like, yeah.
Do you have any business?
Yeah, and I was like, and I was just, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm dropping off some food. And he was like, okay, what unit? And I'm over here like, okay, you're doing too much. You know what I mean?
Mind
like,
your business.
Yeah. And at the same time, she happened to come out, but bro, it's wild out here. Like, people be tripping. I didn't think it was like that, but
Motherfuckers be in a zone.
Yeah.
I ain't seen nothing too funny.
No, it's been a rough week.
It's been a rough week.
I think it's just been like regular, like I ain't nothing really like that just made me laugh, just super,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm hoping to get that today.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't funny. I was just.
That was funny. That was funny. That was funny compared to my week.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I've just been watching and just seeing little.
I mean, you got to see something at the comedy club or doing shows.
Oh yeah. I mean, it seems like at comedy clubs you see more just
straight comedy.
And you see most comics are like, well, especially if they know each other, they're cool, or the weird ones are being weird, whatever.
But what I did see, I think I was mentioning to you that story you were telling me about, bro.
Oh, the Nephilims.
Yeah, boy that disappeared.
The guy that spotted the shit.
What's his name? Andrew.
I can't remember his full name, but he spotted some shit
Dawson,
on the mountain.
Andrew Dawson, something like that.
And then just vanished. And then all of a sudden, all of the military and police, unmarked cars. But that's what tripped me out when people could be like, "Oh, it's fake." Okay, you don't see something like that.
Why is the military there?
Then the next few days see military helicopters, and then the next day see literally like what looks like a tank with like 2 armored like guns, like aimed up, and just it looked like
it really
looked
looked
crazy.
like they were transporting like whatever that was,
or
like,
tracking and trying to stop something from advancing.
Didn't they like carry something out?
That's the first day he saw it on the mountain. A few days later, he saw the helicopters carrying something, like extracting something.
Yeah.
And then like another week later, he saw what looked like gunships or like some type of tank, like stationary tank stationed at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, no, and they don't just do that.
And I don't think that's for people.
That's expensive.
I don't think that was for a person. Like those weren't for people.
Who's up there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a blizzard. Like who's running up a mountain?
The video looked like it was a legit giant. It
was just standing like that was. What would be there and then be gone?
Yeah.
And then the fact that he said the townspeople actually witnessed it.
Right. Yeah.
So that was very strange.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of weird shit that's been happening though. Like, I definitely see, especially with like social media, bro. Everything is like, there's no secrets. I feel like everybody's getting caught in their stuff. You know what I mean? So shit, we're about to see some UFOs, probably some aliens pop out the blue.
Oh shit! So I see Julie baby and the girl, she said, I shouted her. She's like, say it. I want to hear it. At least thanks for watching. Shit. I like when the watchers interact with us.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel like shit's getting so weird to where something's going to appear.
I'm waiting for the aliens to
But
pop
I feel
up.
like a lot of that, how you said that, I feel that's what they're expecting of us.
What do you mean?
The government, they know we're getting closer to know like there's
not. Yeah.
So that's when HARP, Bluebeam, NASA, that's when they do the rollout of these pretty much movie projectors in the sky. And I think what a lot of people will think,
stuff,
and I think what people are going to think is it's him or he's back or it's them.
Maybe,
it's going to be some horseshit, and just to get us to fall in line like they always do.
I think there's
something's going to really happen, and then when it really happens, it's going to really fucking happen.
I think there's a big group that won't fall for it though.
Yeah,
like I
those
think
militia type motherfuckers.
I don't know. I mean, would you fall for it?
It just depends. I know it just depends what you see. If you like wake up and just see a fucking giant standing in the sky,
I don't know,
like
bro.
reaching down, like trying to come, like that's like what are these projectors that are called satellites? Because they said a lot of these satellites aren't even satellites; they're projectors, and they put them in orb. They put them in their position.
I didn't know.
They've had documentaries of that since like 2011.
Wow.
Before I even knew what a rabbit hole was, I remember watching that. Like, what the fuck? That was one of the first things I learned about Bluebeam. And those satellites, they're not actual satellites; they're just projectors.
So that's what the alien invasion is.
Exactly, and then that's how you create a new world order.
But I think okay, so this is definitely just a theory. But if that happens, right, then wouldn't the real aliens pop out and be like, "Nah, bro, this is bullshit," and like really like intervene? You know what I mean? Like somebody's over here playing as if they're you, telling us shit. And
if monkeys were out in the jungle and then other monkeys walked out and start doing this, would people care?
But at that
point,
point,
would you care as a human that other monkeys are posturing to other monkeys? But I feel like
the difference. Remember when you brought up that thing? If the monkeys had
dynamite like Joe Rogan,
So
that's a much different.
But look though, so now these things that are just telling us what to do, or in the sky, or like, you know, scaring us into like whatever they want us to do.
Because I don't feel that it'll be that. I feel like we'll see something, and then the government will pull that we fought it off, or we need this. It's gonna be
like
it's
a
gonna
fight
be
in the sky.
It's gonna be something you see, not that you experience it, but it's gonna be an experience. I
Maybe,
feel you're gonna see it, but that's gonna be their excuse of one world government, one world order.
Like, yeah.
That's gonna be
We
all
have
have
to
to come.
fight this
What Ronald Reagan said in the '80s,
Yeah.
Outside threat that'll make us all forget
Right.
about everything. Literally, that's what they've been building on since probably the 50s. He just got on it in the 80s, and that shit's still been in motion. So
Yeah, I could see that playing out.
I feel like that'll happen. None of us know when God or aliens, whoever is coming back. Nobody, no preacher,
For real, man.
no scientist, no atheist. Nobody knows when the fuck nothing happened. So I feel like when like that feeling that they're building in us is for them to orchestrate some shit. That's my
I
conspiracy.
didn't know the
wheel.
satellite shit, bro. Like,
Yeah, that's been watch. There's so many.
Yeah.
I can remember the first Project Bluebeam before it was even called HARP, when it was just Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
And they talked about how they launched those shits, and they weren't even. They're not satellites. They're gigantic projectors that are just floating.
They just been fucking
And they're
people over
like,
from the
and then
get-go.
that's when that shit happened in Africa. I want to say 2010, 2011, where all the Africans were in that village, and there's this image in the sky which looks like a person like walking, like just in the sky, like they're just illuminated like this light, and it's like but it looks like a figure like walking just out of the sky, but it's in the sky, and it's like a video. All these Africans are going crazy, dropping to their knees, like praying. And then if you really, when they pause it and you look at it, it almost looks like it would be the Virgin Mary, because the person is walking, but there's like it looks like what looks like a sheet or a cloak over them, and they're in the sky, and you can't see any facial features, but you just see the outline profile, what looks like a person walking with like a hood on.
I wonder.
And these Africans were, I'm sure that shit, I saw that shit on World Star in like 2011. And I was like, and people were even in the comments like, this is it. That's how they're going to start with the small-minded people kind of first to use that shit. And if you think you seen
But what
Mary.
do you think, like, I feel like there has to be a way to determine, like, you know, what's real and what's not.
I mean, but that's why you start in villages where people don't know you can show, they don't know about a satellite, let alone
I'm not saying them in particular. I'm saying like as an individual, like, say this happened to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there has to be some type of way to be like, hold on, this, you know, like, I don't know. It might be some shit that's really like damn near reality. I don't know, bro. That'd be crazy, like some video game shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You ever tried the VR shit or no?
Yeah.
Well,
I was boxing on that shit. That shit was hard. I felt like I was in a fight.
well, like the Oculus
Like
shit?
2 days.
Yeah, some shit.
Like my body was sore for 2 days. Like 2-3 days, maybe because I hadn't worked out at that time. But I was really like, I had it on, and even the homies was like, oh, this nigga can really fight. Because I was really like throwing and I was fucking dude up.
So it was real.
But you gotta
pretty
like,
real?
the way I really felt my body was sore as fuck for like 2-3 days, bro. Like, I felt like the last time I had a fight, maybe 2018, and really like beat a nigga up. And I felt like that, even though I didn't get hit in the fight, I was like beating the nigga up so bad that my body was sore. For like my knuckles, I felt like that after playing the Oculus for like.
That's really weird.
Yeah, like literally for like, I played 3 rounds. And it was like a real fight, because by the end I was whooping this nigga ass. By the end of the 3rd round, I was like with the mask on in the room sweating. Like that's how people win fights. Like, you beat this nigga up, and then he just takes it, and then you can't, and you catch those 2-3 punches, and it's fucking over for you. So that's literally what I feel like. If virtual reality can bring that to where my body was sore, I was sweating, out of breath, and that was only 2 rounds of boxing.
Wonder if you were like sore.
Oh shit! Can you hear me though? Because I muted my mic. You can still hear you though, right?
Oh no, I'm muting my mic.
Oh, let me unmute mine then.
You gotta turn your shit down.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Much better. I hear a little echo, but it's cool. Yeah, so I feel that's if virtual reality, just a taste of it can do that to the human body, to where you like, fuck, bro, like I'm out of it. Like, I really feel like I got
That's
jumped.
what I was saying. I wonder
I feel
if
like I got jumped by like 2-3 niggas, bro.
I wonder if your brain thought like, damn, I feel like
I think it was-
if it thought you was really
Because
in
of
a
the
fight,
move,
you know?
the way I was like really, I had to really, like, you playing it, and then the dude's in your face, and I'm fucking him up to where he's getting hit, he wobbling, and I dropped him. And then, like, even when I dropped him, like, I stepped into it. And, like, he fell, like, that shit was real. And then he got up, and I was just so tired, he started, like, little jabs, and he was catching me. And you don't feel that shit. It rumbles, but it don't hurt. Yeah. But my body was sore just from the actual, like, dipping and, like throwing hooks. And, like, that shit really, like, I was sore, like, all in here. Just spots I would never be sore in. That shit was
He was out here fighting, bro.
I was sore in all the wrong spots. It's stupid.
No, I haven't tried the VR shit, but I feel like it's gonna get real enough to where it's gonna be some type of shit where you can't tell the difference. Like there's just not gonna be no way.
Especially nowadays, yeah. But like we think like 20 years ago, right? When
16-bit.
Yeah. But they was considering certain, polygons and shit. We gonna make this VR, that type of shit.
I heard like some shit that like technologies like it's I think like 2 times better every like year and a half or some shit like that. It was like some statistic about like how quickly
they're able to develop the new chip.
Yeah, that's wild, bro.
Who helps them develop this chip?
People that want
Silicon Valley,
the Nephilims,
Silicon Valley,
the Watchers. But that all looks good. Getting back on the Watchers.
Yeah, the Watchers, bro. That's crazy because that's how the story of the Nephilim kind of starts, right? Like,
the Watchers were sent.
Yeah,
they ended up. So, see, in the Bible, I remember reading that story as a kid in the Bible, and they were just angels. They never in the Old Testament.
Yeah. So that's the book of Enoch.
Yeah, in the Old Testament, they came down and just slept with women.
So I feel like that was just them getting the wording wrong, right? Mm-hmm. If you saw something coming from the sky, because the Anunnaki coming from the sky, right, are humanoid beings with wings, right?
Yeah. Right.
Excuse me. But if you saw something coming from the sky like that, and you didn't know how to translate it, you would call it an angel too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
or depend on what it did. It came from the sky, but it caused
it
drama.
Says that you can't.
It's a demon.
It says that you can't. Well, assuming it's good, right?
Yeah, assuming that it came and helped and did, then it's an angel.
But so saying you weren't able to touch this and you weren't able to see because you can't touch a spirit. You know what I mean? But you can touch a flesh being, right? So say they never gave you the chance to touch them. You would think that was a spirit. You wouldn't think that was like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody coming from the sky.
Some type of deity or just some type of enchanted something that you never encounter again or after, or every time you encounter it, it's something just strange surrounding it.
I feel like that was the Anunnaki they were talking about, bro.
Probably. Yeah. It is so much shit that could be whatever it is, and they just make names to it. Nobody actually knows unless some shit shows up and tells you its fucking name, So I just look at a lot of that shit as I don't know, like I don't know. You look at certain just shit in history, and it's like, okay, like I said in the Bible, they showed up. They were just marked as angels that slept with women, that created giants that terrorized people, and then the earth was flooded to get rid of them. But then I've recently watched this documentary, like maybe 2 days ago, that went in about the Nephilims and all that, and it says that they believe that it wasn't just that they were sleeping with women, that they were doing procedures. These were like aliens doing gene splicing with humans.
So it says like,
and that's what created. It went from them creating from the Sumerians and Anunnaki and all this shit.
Yeah.
Then it went to the Nephilims were created by gene splicing. They started adding just different shit into the genes, and then that's why God flooded the earth. And then the dude made a very good point. He goes, that's why Noah was instructed to take most of every animal that was uncorrupted. Those were the animals that their DNA was used, but they weren't changed. So that's why they were, because they was in the Sea Scrolls. And this shit was deep. I was watching. They were talking about in the Sea Scrolls. When you read it, it translates to two DNA from goat, 2 DNA from wolf, 2 DNA from sheep, 2 DNA from ram. This is literally what it's saying in the Sea Scrolls.
DNA.
And or I forgot what the actual word, but it's pretty much saying DNA. They're pretty much saying they're taking genes from every animal to create something. And most people think that's what they probably created us.
And I was listening to something that says, like scientists found out that like 200,000 years ago, human DNA was altered.
It's altered,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're just finding this out.
Exactly.
Like,
So
just
who
recently.
altered it?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that's the same
and how
thing.
can you alter DNA?
But look,
bro?
that's
like,
how Prometheus started. You remember how Prometheus, the very first Prometheus movie
No,
started?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, yeah, you gotta watch Prometheus.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to watch.
But I
Prometheus,
mean,
then
we
the
hear
aliens.
about mutations and shit like that all the time, right?
Right.
So
He's
wouldn't
supposed
that
to be a
cause
Sumerian, I
like
think.
an
And-
alteration?
I feel like the change in DNA causes the mutation, not the mutation causes.
But
the
that's
change
how
in
that's
DNA.
how Prometheus starts.
Yeah.
So it starts. It's supposed to be like I don't know before it's Earth. It's years, millions of years ago, and it's just showing all this beautiful like just trees, waterfalls, and all there's clouds, and all of a sudden you see like it looks like a ship, but it's right above like the lake. And then it just turns up into the cloud, and then it just pans over, and it's this big ass, like perfect body, like all white, black eyed.
Did
Looks
you
like
just say perfect body?
I mean, like it looks like a fake, like chiseled suit. Like, but he's like, I think he's supposed to be a Sumerian, and like, so they dropped him off on Earth, and so he just looks up at the ship, and the ship it's like a flat view like this, but it turns up and just disappears into the clouds, and he just takes out this little bowl. Opens it and it's like these little black, like what looks like cells or germs, whatever. And he just like he like drinks it, and then he just starts shaking, and his body just starts to deteriorate, and it falls like his bones, his skin, everything just falls into the lake. And then they fall like the camera goes under the water, and you see all this shit like bubbling, and then as it starts churning, and then it turns into strands of DNA, and that's how the movie starts. So they're saying like the aliens dropped. That was Prometheus. They dropped him off, and he like sacrificed himself just to create human DNA, and that's what created human life on Earth.
There was like some shit that said there's like millions of germs and bacteria falling from the sky constantly.
Well,
So,
you did just say how it all goes up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine that's just maybe it's not just a physical person. Maybe it's just a germ.
A germ, and that's like, but that's what the whole alien. See, that's why you have to write. Prometheus is a prequel to the Alien franchise, and then Predator is all of it. So all of it's added into one now. So
I haven't watched
the Sumerians pretty much created what became the aliens, the xenomorphs. But
because there's two, like, people think like either the Anunnaki are really fucked up people or they're not.
they were just science.
Like,
What Prometheus projects them as, they were just a civilization of scientists that traveled like everywhere and could do everything, and they were just geniuses. But they created some shit that got out of control, and that destroyed their civilization. And then. Like then they just and then but then if that what they flipped it and then the movie world how they flipped it, the Predators, like now they're saying because they were like, well, did the Sumerians create the Predators too? And then they were saying the Predators might have created the Sumerians, and then the Sumerians were creating the oil to combat the Predators, and that's how that's why the Predators always go hunt the aliens. That's why they have because that's that's science they created that the Sumerians use to fight them. So that's why it's like
created the Predators.
Or then somebody was like that they were just two different. They were already they were two different things, but they know they're the two most smartest. So that's why they're natural. They're natural like enemies. Because that's the you got a reptilian genius and then you have a human.
Maybe that's
genius.
what it is. You know what I mean?
Because the Predators are supposed to be the reptiles and the Sumerians are like humanoids.
The eagles or something.
Yeah, because he looks like dude does. When he says crazy, you said that when he's like all white, bald head, but he's like bright white with like dark, big black eyes. Yeah. But he looks human clearly, and then he just opens his shit and like looks at it like he kind of thing, and then he just like fucks it and drinks it, and then it's like his shit just.
No,
but
I think
his
that's
body
probably where to
created
go.
like so. Even though it's a movie. A lot of that shit is taken from his like not historical fact.
No, I mean it's
but
historical,
but
script,
historic
though.
myth or folklore.
They wrote about this, so there's
fucking,
no reason for you to write about all this stuff, bro, and keep it
Roman mythology, Greek mythology,
all types,
every type of mythology. It's literally the same shit, but all of these movies just take parts of that, and it makes sense of that could have possibly happened. No one would.
You heard the Emerald Tablets?
Yeah. I just heard about that like 3 days ago.
So that's like
I believe that's what I think the Emerald Tablets might have been what the two when they were saying it was like the recipe for making humans.
That's alchemy. Yeah,
I think that was. I think that's what I was. I think because I heard that when I was watching it. Yeah. I believe the Emerald tablets is what had the 2 goat 2.
Oh really?
Like that's what had that of like saying I don't because they said it was all in with like sea scrolls, other shit.
I just started like listening to like the audio because it's a big bro. It's even the audio is like fucking like 3 hours long. But I just started like listening to it and it's pretty crazy.
They kicked you off?
Nah, I left.
Oh, man.
It's pretty crazy.
Ain't nobody watching.
Shit, I got like 4 or 5 people.
No, they started, but they left.
Already. They just comment. They just joined. I got 2 that just joined.
Okay, I left.
That's why I don't like stories though, because it'll say 1 watcher the whole time, and it'll be like 75 people was watching you the whole. Wait, niggas, I saw you live. No, you didn't. Nigga. No, you didn't. Stop lying. You lie. But I mean, yeah, I feel like everything's based in some form of truth or historic fact or whatever. So, but with seeing that about that, I believe it was kind of the Emerald shit because they did bring those up.
I'm like halfway through, and I'll let you know if that comes up because.
But that's what they were saying, dude. Was like that's why Noah was instructed just to take all the natural tool of everything on the ark while they flooded the rest of everything away. So I mean, like, what else was in that flood that we didn't get to encounter? Imagine that. Stuff, yeah. Imagine like fucking wolves the size of this building or something.
They found all types of big ass birds, fucking
some
even
type
bones,
of colossus and shit.
Bones that were like 3 times human size or some shit like that. Like that. The doors for like giants. Like,
yeah, like and when naturally the tallest person was like 5'2", 5'5".
You got these big ass.
And you got like, what is this for? Is this gigantic?
How can you even open these? It doesn't make no damn sense.
Like, who was working these doors? Imagine being a doorman. Like, and they'll behead you if you don't open them the right way. Like, you just stand there all day. Like, you better lift all the weights. It must have been a while.
You ever seen like Game of Thrones?
I never watched it. I'm gonna start though. I'm gonna get into it.
Yeah, no. I never watched it. They have giants in there too. Hmm? Yeah, there's a lot of shit that talks about it. I mean,
even Thor. I mean, look at Thor and the story of Loki. And how they found out he wasn't his real brother, but he's a frost giant.
Right.
Loki was actually a giant, but Odin found him when he was a child, when he fought the frost giants and killed all of them, and then he found him as a baby and then couldn't kill him and took him and raised him as his own. So that's just in what Loki is in Greek mythology. Yeah. He's in the Bible. He's literally like, bro, he's an angel. Loki is one of the angels. And then, but he's in Greek mythology, Roman mythology.
Yeah, I didn't know all that.
Yeah, Loki is. Look at what's the movie Dogma? You ever see Dogma? Mm-hmm. Well, it's in the line of the Kevin Smith movies, maybe. Like Mallrats, Clerks. It's in that universe. They're also all the same characters are in every movie.
Yeah.
And in that movie, it's all the same characters, but God is about to destroy the earth, so He sends Barnabas. No, He sends. So Loki, I think it's Loki and Barnabas. They were kicked out of heaven. And they find a loophole that if they do something, they can make it back in heaven. But if they do that, that means they prove God was wrong. And if you prove God is wrong, then the universe ends. So like this other angel, Alan Rickman, he comes down and he's like an alcoholic, but he just sits at bars and he drinks and spits out the liquor. And she's like, why do you keep spitting? He's like, angels, we can't ingest alcohol. So like he gets drunk because it's in his mouth and he just spits it out. So he's telling her all this shit. It's a dope ass movie. Watch it, yeah. But Dogma? That's what it's called, Dogma. But Matt Damon is Loki and Ben Affleck is Barnabas. And there are 2 angels and they were kicked out and they're just like on a mission and they're just on Earth trying to like write certain shit, but they're doing psychotic shit like blowing people away like with handguns. They walk around in trench coats, but they have their wings. Like it's like, but it's literally. So I'm like, if Loki is a real, by the Bible, he's a real person. He was an angel. So the fact that he's put in every damn near action kind of fantasy movie from The Mask.
Sure, it's for
that was what Jim Carrey in The Mask. The Mask. It was Loki. It wasn't Loki's mask. The Mask was Loki.
Right.
Like that's why I like when he says it, when he takes it to the guy. So it's like weird how that. It's supposed to be make believe, but somehow this this
Keeps
mystic
coming
character,
around,
and that's really
and
in
that's
all
not
these
the
historic
only one.
shit.
There's a lot of
A
them.
lot. There's a lot of them. Horus. Because I always looked at the story of Horus like, well, how can people not believe that, but believe the story of just Jesus Christ?
Yeah, there's
and it's the same story that happened damn near 8,000 years before Jesus existed.
And I think they just found out like around like the Sphinx, there was like some there was like erosion or some shit. And they just found out that happened from like water damage, bro.
Like exactly,
which is way before
the
what
flood,
they got it. Yeah,
what
they got it dated and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy, but figure it out eventually.
So I would just look at that as like that's just strange in itself. Of like what would I don't know, like something that would have to be washed away, or just all these characters and shit. Maybe they just got sick of being here and left, and this is just an ancient, forgotten place, and then nothing happens.
I think it's more than like, I think there's been multiple civilizations like that have been here, stopped,
Atlantis,
over and over and over and over. So, bro, the Earth, I think the universe is like 8 billion years old or some shit like that. Yeah. So, yeah, we're no near.
It's all
near that shit.
It's just like no one will ever know. No man will ever know. I feel like no one man or person can just tell you because you have a suit on with a briefcase and you're an expert. Yeah, like, bro, it's just whatever shows itself and whatever people learn and could be the truth or whatever. That's it. So.
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. Because I mean, what could you know, really?
Exactly. Other than what was written by people. Yeah. That's why I always trip off of like people believe certain shit, and it's like, I mean, who knows? The Sea Scrolls might have been written by people, and then they just played it. They did just this big play to, hey, it was in the walls. Look what we found, and I feel nothing's like past
the shit,
people.
The Vatican, they have a lot of like, secrets there and stuff.
I've heard that years ago that there's like pages of the Bible that were removed that are like in the walls of the Vatican and the floors, and
they got a lot of shit.
It's like certain chapters and books that are in the Bible that aren't supposed to be like was it Enoch or
Book of Enoch?
There was another one
that
too.
didn't make it to the Bible because it had too much like.
It was like that was on the mixtape. That was on the Bible mixtape. We ain't putting this on the album.
And the book of Enoch, bro. Enoch is Noah's dad, I believe, or Noah's dad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they kept his book out the Bible for some reason.
That's because he probably kept it too real.
Maybe
that nigga Enoch wasn't no joke.
I haven't gotten through it or nothing yet, but from what I heard, it's about like something taking him up and like letting him see all these different things.
Enoch probably kept it too real.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
We got these bitch ass giants everywhere, fucking aliens scooping us up every fucking week, plagues, fucking floods. Like I'm sick of this shit. It's like, damn. Then you got like Methuselah, the oldest nigga. This nigga's still around.
I don't know who that is.
You never heard of Methuselah?
Nah.
Methuselah was supposed to be the oldest living person. And he's in the Bible. I think he lived to 1,000 or 800.
Yeah, I think that's where the DNA shit got changed.
Most likely.
Because
everybody in the Bible
was old.
They were like 127,
rather old.
150, and he was 215.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck are these people? And they had 1,700 kids.
And then all of a sudden,
they wasn't eating fucking shit in the
microwave. Pastrami chili cheese fries.
Just radiation.
But even before then, bro. Before then, right?
But they were the first created people too.
Nah, but I'm saying before that, right? Before that, like even like the early 1600s. You feel me? People were dying early and like the brother.
That was because of plagues. They was just nasty.
But if you notice, every so many years, like life expectancy starts to go down.
I agree, but compared to like fucking 400 or 500 years old,
what if
you know what I mean? Like,
what if it's just a planet? Like it's too many.
Well, they wasn't telling time the same way that we tell time.
Exactly, that's true. But what if it was just? What if it's just a planet every few centuries? It's like it's too many.
A month could have been a year to them,
and we have to.
It's like could have been a year to them.
Not The Mist. What's the other one? Not The Mist. The one with John Leguizamo, Mark Wahlberg. The Happening. The Happening. You ever see The Happening?
No.
That shit is creepy.
The Happening?
The Happening.
Like what's happening?
Yeah. It's just called The Happening, where it's like people are just out in a movie. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh, okay.
All his movies are like, wow. And everybody's just out, and then like the lady's talking to her homegirl like at the park, and she's like knitting, and then the chick just like freezes. And then everybody's like, she's like, what the fuck? And then the chick just takes like her sewing needle, just sticks it in her own neck.
Oh, shit.
So in the movie, it's supposed to be like all, like people are just start doing weird shit. Like they'll just be walking, and then you know that the person's infected. Y'all will be running like we don't know what we're running from. That's why the movie's so scary because everybody's trying to get away, and the motherfucker will be like, "Let's go," and then the motherfucker will just stop, and you'll be like, "What's?" And they'll be like, "Oh shit!" And then he'll just do something like start walking backwards and like just walk outside and just lay on the train tracks. So it was like, but it turned out to be like it was a reaction from like the trees. The trees were because every time
don't kill the movie, bro.
But no, it tells you that. But you got to see that it starts. That's how the movie starts. You see the trees start. It was almost like they would start talking or like blowing, and then weird shit start happening. So I still don't even remember why the trees were doing it actually, but it was some crazy shit. Watch that shit.
Yeah,
Watch
I'm
The
gonna check it
Mist.
out.
Watch The Mist, which I just watched again. I think I told you.
The Mist
watch
was the one where they
Dogma,
was trapped in the
supermarket,
store, right? Yeah,
I just watched that again. I told you to watch it like
That
a
was
year
dope.
ago or so.
Probably,
but I
yeah.
just watched it again like last night, and like that shit.
But
And they made a
starts to
Netflix
get a little
show.
corny with the shit that comes in that's attacking them.
Not really.
I don't know. I didn't really find that very scary.
That shit was crazy. Especially the shit at the end.
I'm like, their effects could have.
Because did you watch the Netflix series?
No.
They made a 1 season like 8 episode Netflix Mist where instead of a supermarket they're in a mall.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
That shit's
that give
actually
me
dope.
something to go
That
check
shit's
out.
it's only 1 season too. So I know they didn't, but it like that shit was crazy.
I seen you watch Kaleidoscope.
I've
I
heard
started
about
watching it. I watched the first one, like halfway through, but I haven't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but it's good. It's a
that's
good
the
show.
it. What is it even about? I've heard about it. I've never watched
like
it.
a robbery, right?
Robbery.
Is that
movie.
the show that's from like everybody's? You can watch it in different orders.
That's what people say, but I don't
that's
agree.
that
I don't
show?
agree with
Yeah.
that
Okay.
though.
And it's a different color. Every title is a different color.
Was that who was just telling us that? Or were you telling me that, or somebody?
I don't know.
Or it
We
might have
talked
been
about
you.
it.
Were you
Nah,
telling?
Ryan was here and I was talking to him.
But he
about
wasn't
it.
here.
Somebody
for
was
that.
somebody was just showing me the shit, and they were like, "I'm glad I watched it, and I almost watched it in the perfect order." They were like, "I watched it in blue."
But we did
yellow,
have that conversation,
Bro, that shit is stupid because
They were showing me like a TikTok, and a TikToker was talking about.
Yeah, but you can't watch it in any order. Like there's a storyline.
They said so. And what I watched, they said you can watch it in any order, but there's an order that almost makes it perfect. I forgot the color order, and then the TikToker I was watching, he was like, I watched it in this order, which was almost that which made it. So he was like, so like the episodes are just. I'm like, I guess.
I thought like you
can't-
can jump in.
Nah,
I was
I used to
like,
get on my
what?
uncle about that shit.
You can't do
my
that.
oldest uncle, he do that shit, and it just drives me crazy. I'll be sitting there, and I'll be watching something. He'll come in and be like, "Oh, this the Flash." I'll be like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, it's good." I was like, "Yeah, you like which season?" Oh no, I just started watching it. I'm like, "So you started in season 4, episode 8? You started season 4,
said, "Oh, this
episode
good."
8."
Hey.
And, like he watched. I was watching Narcos, the 3rd season. He came in. And he's like, "Oh, this is good." I was like, "This one's cool," but I think the 1st season was crazy. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't see that." I'm like, "What you mean, nigga? You just talking about the 3rd season is good, but you ain't seen the 1st or the 2nd."
That's funny.
So that's weird when people just jump in, and that's honestly a reason why I start shit either extremely late or I just don't watch it. Like the Game of Thrones, I'm eventually.
Thrones is good.
I did that with Breaking Bad and Sons of Anarchy.
no,
like
both of
years
those are
later.
really good.
And I was like a year, like literally almost like 10 years later, and I was like, this shit is. I was watching them both. Like they would just when I'd be off work, those would take my days up. Just like 4 episodes of Sons. And
Sons of Anarchy is
and
like
5 episodes
very
of
good show.
fucking and I'll just be at home all day on the couch just smoking, and that shit Breaking Bad that shit was amazing. But I've always done that with shows that are like hyped because I don't just follow because people be like, watch this, you gotta, and it's like, yeah,
They be good shows.
Yeah, and they do, and definitely, I just feel like I'm gonna go against the grain, and then be like 7 years late out the loop talking about you seen Jax Teller.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of shows that I like. That's definitely out there right now, but I got into them late.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
What's your favorite one you got into late? Well, you got into The Boys late, didn't you?
I got into that late. Yeah,
That
that
pause,
was
that
dope.
sounded weird.
Yeah,
I
that
got into
did.
The Boys late.
And then I agree with you too, so I got to pause.
Pause. He said, "Nah, pause."
But yeah, that. I mean, even when like the original Power came out, I got onto that late. I got on when like it was already on season 5, and I went back and watched it from the beginning.
That's what I gotta do.
But then I've been watching every single one ever since because I'm a fan of the show now.
I just watched BMF last night.
Yeah, see,
that shit was
I
dope.
told you.
First episode was sick. That nigga Lamar, oh nigga.
I watched that just a day after it aired. You know, I was like, damn, I missed.
I forgot about it. And it was tripping on the Fire Stick, so
because it came on a Friday and it used to come on Sundays.
Oh, that is.
So here I am on Saturday. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta catch this shit now. That's true. Day early.
Yeah, it was tripping on the Fire Stick, so I went down to the 720 and played that one, and it played all the way through. So I was like, this shit crazy. That's a good show. I was like, I felt like a 50 boy that just got out of jail, like 17 years later. Nigga with the same flat top. The 50 boys. No, but yeah, that shit was good. There's a lot of good entertainment out there. But I was like, shit you catch up on later. Or I think I was watching what was one of the ones I used to always watch, and I kind of got up on it late. It was like some basketball. There was like a girl basketball team, and it has like, what's the dude used to play for the Patriots? Gonzalez, Tony Gonzalez. Mm-hmm. He's in it. He's like the basketball coach, and it's like this. It's like a drama. But
the Chiefs, dude.
No, he played for the Patriots. He probably did end up playing for the Chiefs.
Too,
like maybe, but he was with Christina Gonzalez or Lauren Gonzalez. The chick used to be on that. The chick that's with Bezos now. That was his baby. I'm like, nigga, imagine your baby mama ex is like with Jeff Bezos now. Like that'd be like. I mean, it's not like hating. I wouldn't be like. I was like, good for you.
Living life.
But it'd be like, damn, that's crazy. Like you really, I stepped. Yeah, hey. If I'm gonna tell a new bitch, hey, my old bitch with Jeff Bezos. So get in where you fit in. I'm trying to teach you something. Each one teach one. Nigga, it ain't what we do for each other. It's what we can build together. Nigga, it's like so. The ism. It's always out there. It's not on you. It's in you. But they got to drop all the cliches in this motherfucker today. We go for conspiracies and street walking, nigga. But yeah, that show was so crazy, and it's like you can't stop watching, which I see as the formula and format for a lot of good shows like Sons of Anarchy. I peeped this. I peeped it with Sons of Anarchy and the show that I'm talking about with Gonzalez. It's like every episode, just when they're getting out of the shit, some dumb shit, and you're like, and then so it's like you can't. That's what kept me with Sons. It was like, oh, nigga.
It was always into some
It was
shit.
just like, but as soon as they resolve some shit,
something.
Here's some dumb shit, and it's like that's the same shit with this girl basketball team, and it just gets deep, and it's from like, okay, one of the dudes, they were like a college basketball team. One of the dudes was sleeping with one of the girls, and he went and got another job, and she went to another school. Then he came back, and they were like they didn't want him there. Then somebody gets murdered. Like one of the players like murdered one of the dudes because he was trying to slap up he was trying to choke the teacher out because he was drunk and tripping because she knew something about him, or she slept with him once. And he was going to tell her husband, who was Tony Gonzalez and the coach. Like, so it's literally like a real soap opera where you're like, nigga, like you can't stop what they catch you. And they get you hooked, and you're like, I got to keep going. So there's a lot of those shows, but I'm going to end up watching Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is solid.
Because that's definitely something I just never fell into. A lot of the HBO shows I never fell into. You just fall into
it. Just goes along with the rest of the show, I guess.
You just fall into the rabbit hole. That's what you're gonna call it. Fall into the rabbit hole.
I don't know. I never really got into Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know.
Too much like
weird shit,
Lord of the Rings and shit like that to me.
That's what it always made me think of, and I never really even got into that. I watched those.
I watched the first episode, right, and then everybody that I told that to, they like, oh no, you got to get past that one. You got to watch and it's like, true, well. It make me feel like I got to start in like season 2, and then I'm not gonna know what's going on because I don't know none of the characters. You know what I'm saying?
I think I watched some of Spartacus when that used to come on, and then that shit just like a lot of gay shit was going on, so I just stopped watching it. It was just like weird, like it was like not that they're gay, so it's weird. It was just like weird activity was
like
going
extra
on.
Stuff,
extra shit. I'm not watching this shit, bro. This shit is. It was like. Sand, blood, and sand. I'm like, yeah, booty blood. A lot of weird shit. It was some freak shit going on. I was like, bro, this is just this like a fucking Red Shoe Diaries, nigga. What the fuck am I watching?
Red Shoe Diaries.
This is like a gay version of all man version sex show of like gladiator freaks. Like they fighting lions and wars, and then they doing nasty shit. It was just kind of, and it probably did
like some shit that would have been like on HBO, Showtime.
It was on. I believe it was on HBO. Spartacus, I think that was, or Stars. I think Spartacus is on Stars. Yeah, but it was like
that's the type of content.
They do. But HBO
that's
too.
That's like softcore.
That HBO's always done that too. Look at Oz. Look at Sopranos. Look at The Wire. Look at True Blood. Like all of them had wild shit, but all of them had extremely like sexual gay like moments, and some of the shows were just based on those moments more, like True Blood or like I'm like
the writers are the same, you know. Or
Yeah,
it's really
like
about the
same
production
writers or-
behind it.
yeah, who's like putting these out and continually doing the same.
I mean, you can look it up. Like, is that your question? Who are the writers?
I don't want to know. Shit.
Okay.
I'm good. He said I'm good.
I mean, but obviously they got to deal with that company to be able to release on that platform.
Right.
And, you know, they did what they had to do. So more power to them for that. You know, they handled their business.
My nigga, the TV said let him join the live. I was like, is that him right there?
He's not going to be on the show.
Oh.
He going to be on the live, but he's not going to be in here. Oh, he could FaceTime? Yeah, we can get him on the show.
Did they let him back in?
All right.
They let him back on the show?
All right.
I mean, they let him back on live? Because you ever hear he was having a sneak on and they was kicking him off? After
what?
Like, because he was like, he couldn't go live, and then he could, and then as soon as he get like going, it just cut off. Like, he'd get like 10, 15, like 12 minutes in, and it should have cut off.
I wonder why.
Like, I don't know. Like, Instagram is some bullshit. Watch they kick me off now.
Because you said that, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, we got your ass.
Yeah.
We monetize, nigga.
So, everybody, tell everybody who y'all are and where they can find y'all at.
Mike Mack, bro. That's, you know, you can find me here with these guys
Yeah.
every now and then.
Every now and then. It's Tony Grams. Find me on IG at Tony Grams, TONY_GRAMS. And shit, I'm gonna have a show, I believe January 28th at El Cid on Sunset. The Help Us Get Famous show hosted by POV Comedy and Danny Brooks. It's gonna be a good, dope ass show, so let's make sure y'all tap in, get that going.
I'm Cool Ass Cam, the coolest motherfucker on the planet. And y'all need to tap in with our website if you haven't already. I'm telling y'all, there's some hot shit on there. They got links to all of our shit. All of our shit is dope. And I'm going to just keep saying that shit.
There you go. Coolest.
Yeah.
www.theinnovativeculture.com.
We out here innovating.
YouTube.com/innovativeculture. Instagram @innovative.culture.
We out here innovating while y'all hating.
We out of this motherfucker.
Innovative.